Hello, dear friends. Welcome back to our channel, a platform for knowledge sharing and holistic self-development through insightful books. Do you ever wonder why we struggle to change ourselves, finding it hard to stick with good habits? We resolve to lose weight, but can't resist sweet pastries. We promise to exercise regularly, only to tell ourselves, "I'll start tomorrow." We want to stop endless phone scrolling, wake up early, and learn new skills, but these remain mere intentions. Confucianism uses discipline to conquer temptation. Buddhism emphasizes precepts, and Taoism advocates releasing desires. When willpower isn't enough to overcome temptation, we often tell ourselves that only saints or enlightened beings can truly achieve it, while we are just ordinary people. Day after day, we remain trapped in this cycle, determined to change but unable to sustain it, blaming ourselves, and ultimately succumbing to temptation. If you're caught in this cycle, today we introduce another renowned book on discipline. Switch: How to Change Things When Change is Hard, by brothers Chip and Dan Heath. Previously, books like Willpower and The Happiness Hypothesis explored two psychological control systems influencing your ability to maintain discipline. These systems are represented by the elephant, symbolizing emotion, and the rider, representing reason. The elephant is emotional. Today, we revisit these two psychological control systems, delving into practical methods that can help you maintain discipline effectively. We hope today's insights contribute to building lasting change, helping you gradually achieve your most meaningful values. Now, let's listen. Don't suppress the elephant within you. Understand and guide it. In psychology, each of us has an emotional elephant and a rational rider. The elephant represents our deep emotions and instincts, powerful yet impulsive, constantly craving instant gratification. The rider is our rational mind, alert, analytical, and capable of long-term planning. In reality, the elephant is rarely obedient. When your instincts surge, the rider feels incredibly small. When the elephant insists on a certain direction, our reason becomes almost helpless. Imagine wanting to lose weight. You set goals, plan workouts, and choose a diet. But during execution, the emotional elephant constantly seeks instant gratification, becoming your biggest obstacle. At this point, one ice cream or several missed workouts can derail your plan at any moment. That's why you often do things you know you shouldn't, feeling helpless and even angry with yourself afterward. However, the elephant isn't an enemy. It's the most powerful source of energy for change. Emotions like love, loyalty, and empathy all originate from the elephant. These are the profound drivers that make people act and persevere. Without emotion, reason is just a plan on paper. So, change isn't about destroying the elephant within you. It's a journey of learning to understand, guide, and cooperate with it. The truth is, we can't control it by force, meaning we can't rely solely on willpower to maintain discipline. There's a famous experiment that illustrates this. Two groups of children. One could freely eat chocolate, the other only carrots, while smelling delicious chocolate nearby. Both solved a difficult puzzle. The carrot-eating group quickly gave up. This shows that our self-control, the rider's strength, is a limited resource. It can be depleted if we constantly force ourselves to resist temptations. Just like when we try to lose weight, force ourselves to learn vocabulary, or promise to reduce phone usage. Relying solely on willpower, constantly telling yourself, "I must persevere, no more laziness," is like stretching a guitar string too tight. Eventually, it will snap. Therefore, to truly maintain discipline, we cannot rely on willpower alone. We need a comprehensive change method based on 3 angles. When you understand and apply the right methods, you'll find that change, in any area, becomes much easier. The comprehensive 3-pillar method helps you easily maintain discipline. The first angle is helping the rider. Imagine you are the rider. If you want the elephant to go in a desired direction, What would you do? Typically, the first step is to think about the plan, the methods, and so on. This isn't wrong. But unconsciously, the habit of overanalyzing, creating grand plans, and seeking optimal methods traps people into believing they need a perfect solution before acting. Excessive planning and analysis can lead to procrastination, even preventing action altogether. Your inner rider, sometimes a brilliant planner, can easily become obsessed with perfection, fearing to even start the journey. So, instead of meticulously outlining a perfect A to Z roadmap, we can take a smarter approach. Look for bright spots in the current situation. What does finding bright spots mean? The book describes a case of a problematic student with a difficult background: divorced parents, slow comprehension, lazy, and moody. All teachers felt helpless with him. Everyone believed that helping this child change required a systemic and comprehensive therapy plan, perhaps stemming from understanding childhood trauma to healing original family pain. But the therapist began with a very simple method: telling the classroom teacher to welcome him instead of being cold, and assigning the boy easier homework. Surprisingly, after a few months, the student showed significant improvement. This is about finding bright spots. Instead of seeking a grand solution with a perfect plan, think of simple, easy-to-implement actions first. Bright spots in your life can be moments or small actions that have worked effectively, even if just a little. For weight loss, finding bright spots means reflecting. Was there a period when you lost 1 or 2 kilograms? If so, what did you do differently then? Did you sleep earlier, eat less at dinner, or walk more? Once you recognize those effective actions, start implementing them immediately, without overthinking. Change doesn't start with greatness. It starts with feasibility. After finding bright spots, the rider needs to take a more specific step. Identify keystone actions within those bright spots and start scaling them up. The book analyzes a case: high domestic violence rates in the US. Experts found that instead of using many methods to change parental mindsets or teach anger management, focusing on one simple action was far more effective. That action was maintaining 5 minutes of unconditional interaction daily. During these 5 minutes, parents would just play with their child without scolding or making any demands. After repeating this small action for a while, the results were astonishing. Domestic violence rates sharply decreased. This is the power of keystone actions, a small specific change that creates significant transformative impact. Apply this to your own reform. From all your bright spots, you can choose one keystone action for yourself. This action should have the least resistance, be easiest to start, and most importantly, be repeatable. For weight loss, a keystone action could be finishing dinner before 5 p.m., avoiding carbs at night, or wearing workout clothes and walking for 10 minutes daily. If you want to write, the keystone action isn't writing a complete essay, but just 3 lines daily. Any small positive action that is feasible for you to repeat consistently will become a natural part of you. We need to understand that the writer's job isn't to fix every single mistake, but simply to identify and repeat the right things, little by little, every day. Finally, for the writer, we also need to know how to set goals. However, don't set a dry, restrictive goal. Instead, give yourself a destination postcard. We're familiar with SMART goal setting: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. This is a logical approach. For instance, I will lose 2 kilograms in 30 days by April 30th. But the author argues this goal-setting method is too dry, failing to harness emotion or awaken inner potential, making it hard to sustain. We need to show the rider a destination. This destination must not only be clear and achievable, but also emotionally described. You need to embed a vivid image of your future self there. This is the destination postcard method of goal setting. On it, you might write, "On a morning in October, I'm wearing my favorite old jeans, feeling light and full of energy. I'll take a photo with that confident smile. By year end, I'll open my savings account and see the numbers A, B, C, realizing my goals are achieved. I'll feel stable, confident, free, and more self-reliant. This vivid picture doesn't just show the rider the path, it ignites excitement in the elephant, giving you a sense of accomplishment and peace, not just cold numbers. When the rider sees a clear, inspiring, and feasible path, he will no longer be paralyzed by analysis. He'll be ready to take the reins and, with the elephant, take effective and persistent first steps. Next, the second angle to easily maintain discipline is motivating the elephant. Since the elephant represents our emotions, what it needs most is always a feeling. You can lecture for hours on the benefits of waking up early, but if tomorrow a warm bed embraces you and drowsiness sets in, all reason vanishes. What triumphs then is the feeling of extra sleep. So, how do we find the right feeling to awaken the elephant's inner strength? The book describes a case in the US where many cancer patients forgot to take their medication, increasing their risk of death. Hospitals devised a game where patients role-played destroying cancer cells. As a result, they took more medication and survival rates improved. The reason was their actions became emotionally connected. It wasn't a duty, but empowering themselves. Thus, motivating the elephant is truly the art of creating positive emotions within yourself. Joy, pride, satisfaction, and so on. For example, you want to exercise daily, but the thought of a 30-minute workout makes you tired. Instead of forcing yourself, put on your favorite music, choose a light exercise, and view it as relaxation time. When joy appears, the elephant will cooperate willingly. Or, if you want to read but get easily distracted by your phone, instead of setting a big goal, create a pleasant ritual. Brew tea, sit in a familiar corner, and just read a few pages. Gradually, that sense of relaxation will draw you back to reading. Remember, sustainable change doesn't come from a battle of willpower, but as the reward of a successful rendezvous with your own feelings. Invite your inner elephant to move with joy, with fondness, with ease. When your heart desires it, every journey will feel effortless. After creating inspiration, the next step is to lower the barriers for the elephant. A study showed psychologists telling hotel housekeepers that their daily work was actually a great workout, even meeting recommended levels. With just this information, those employees became motivated and successfully lost weight over time. The secret lies in changing the perception of the starting point. They realized they weren't starting from zero, needing intense exercise or strict diets to lose weight. They were already at 20%, active individuals becoming leaner. That moment of changed perception lowered the psychological barrier. Our elephant, initially fearing a steep cliff, suddenly realized it was on a gentle slope, and natural motivation surged. The key to lowering barriers for the elephant is cultivating a growth mindset. Instead of a fixed mindset, where the elephant fears failure, equating it with "I can't," we need to nurture growth. But in a growth mindset, failure is simply a message. You haven't achieved it yet. Like in a school where teachers, instead of giving an F for failure, wrote "not yet achieved" for students. They also affirmed that all students could go to college. This change in language made a huge difference, increasing the school's university admission rate. This is using a growth mindset, transforming self-perception from a failure, weak, or incapable person into someone making progress. In practice, if we start learning English again, instead of saying, "I have no talent for English," think, "I already know 20%. Even if it's just basic words. Now, I just need to learn 10 new words daily." Or when learning a new skill, don't think, "I know nothing about guitar, I'm too clumsy." Instead, try thinking, "I am a guitar learner. Currently, I know how to hold the guitar and play 2 chords." My next goal is to practice smoother chord changes. This is defining yourself by the journey, not an instant result. In summary, pay attention to and revise your self-talk. Consistently repeat positive affirmations to build the belief that I have potential to grow, to learn, to progress, and adapt. At this point, your elephant will no longer hesitate, fearing a deep abyss. It will see a gentle, sunlit slope and confidently move forward. This is how you help your inner elephant release resistance and take steady steps. Finally, a crucial angle. To maintain discipline, we need to adjust by creating an easy path for the elephant, or in other words, redesigning the environment. The environment is neutral, not moral, but a purposefully designed environment for positive change will subtly guide us toward better choices, without requiring any willpower from us. If you place a plate of fries directly in front of someone on a diet, no matter how strong their willpower, their elephant will struggle terribly. Conversely, if your home only has fruits and healthy meals, making the right choice becomes effortless. Redesigning the environment means making good habits easy and convenient, and bad habits difficult and inconvenient. For example, for sedentary office workers, instead of announcing, "Stand up and move," place trash cans and printers at the end of the room, forcing people to walk a few steps when needed, or hold standing meetings. Or if you want to focus on high-quality work, but picking up your phone leads to hours of social media scrolling, then put your phone elsewhere and create a distraction-free workspace. When you sit down, you'll have only one choice: start working. Clear environmental cues will completely change your behavior. Environment here isn't just physical, it's also social. Behavior is contagious. If you're in a group of complainers, you're more likely to become pessimistic. But if you're surrounded by diligent people, you tend to become more diligent. So, actively adjust your environment. Connect with those who share your goals and frequency, and limit contact with negative influences. In this digital age, you can follow inspiring individuals. Your social network will gradually transform into a source of motivation. In summary, instead of using willpower to fight a tempting environment, cleverly redesign it. Clear obstacles on your path to goals, and add supportive cues and tools along the way. Persistent strength comes from clever harmony. These are comprehensive methods for sustainable change. Discipline isn't about iron will or perfection. It's about clearly understanding that on this journey, you're not fighting alone. You have an inner team, a wise rider to chart the course, and a powerful elephant to provide energy. Your task now is to learn how to make them all cooperate. Show the rider the bright spots and the destination postcard, giving the elephant feelings of joy and the belief that it can. Finally, cleverly design a path by adjusting your surroundings. Start with the smallest change you can envision right now, because, as we've seen, each small, persistent step on a prepared path has the power to unlock a grand journey of transformation. True change isn't just for extraordinary individuals with immense willpower. It's for all of us, those who listen, are patient, and are wise enough to guide themselves with relaxation and a deep understanding of their own psychology. May you find joy and ease on your own journey to better daily discipline. Let's strive together in this lifetime to become the best versions of ourselves. Thank you for listening. If you found this video helpful, please share it with those who need it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for new videos weekly. Once again, thank you, and we look forward to seeing you in our next videos.